Once you reach the end of time, you can begin interacting with last Epoch's endgame system, the Monolith of Fate. You complete various timelines by completing echoes, don't worry, more on that in a bit, and defeating the quest boss at the end, progressing first from the Fall of the Outcasts all the way to the top, where, after defeating the Spirits of Fire, Last Ruin, and Age of Winter monolith bosses, you're able to unlock Empowered Monoliths, which is where the real endgame begins. This is level 100 content, where you can push corruption and face ever-increasing difficulty. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Today I'm going to be covering most of the basics, with a focus on helping you progress on a fresh character. Then, towards the end, I'll wrap things up with a few tips, tricks, and best practices. If you want to know more about how to progress in Last Epoch, the build I'm playing, or many other things, do be sure to get subscribed, leave a like while you're down there, and stay tuned for future updates. For now, let's get into some basics. So when you first enter a timeline, this is what it looks like. There's always a waypoint and an interactable. If you want to get from one timeline to another, there are these nifty little bridges. At first, you won't be able to access them, but as you clear Fall of the Outcasts, more open up and you can continue through the entire web. Click here, and for example, this is the Last Ruin timeline. The starting point shows the timeline instability. You want to increase the stability to then do all the quest echoes and encounter the boss. These are the different echoes that you can take part in. For example, this one has a modifier where enemies have a 50% chance to receive a glancing blow. For this, they have a chance to slow on hit. Now, as you keep progressing and completing echoes, your web starts to look like this. The farther you go, the more likely you are to encounter the Shade of Oribus. This is a battle that resets the entire echo web back to the start, but increases the difficulty through scaling corruption. The more corruption, the more health and damage monsters have. You'll also notice that you get bonus timeline stability and regular timeline stability. Regular timeline stability is gained just by completing the echo. Bonus stability is gained for progress within the echo. That's why up at the top you can see plus 20 to plus 62. You'll get 20 by completing this specific echo, but you can get up to 42 bonus by killing monsters. This is to help incentivize people to not just objective rush, and also why, if your build can kill things along the way, it's very advantageous while objective rushing. Now these echoes can further be broken down into two very broad categories. Regular echoes like this, which have a tile set, monsters, and an objective, or arena echoes. Arena echoes, you're put in a small space and you kill waves of enemies. You must kill all the enemies across all the waves to clear the echo. If you die in the process, the echo reward is lost, and this is true for both types. So having good defenses is very important for your overall progression when you're playing Last Epoch. If you're able to do that, then you'll complete one of these quest echoes like this. You'll continue to advance, so here, you need a certain amount of stability to unlock this, then at 250 this one, then at 400 this one. Depending on the timeline and depending on if it's empowered or not, will depend on the actual stability numbers. Now, also, if you look here, these give 10 timeline stability. These give 20. Why is that? The farther from the center, the more stability you get. This actually forces you, or more encourages you, to explore so that you can progress faster and faster and faster. Then, as you defeat the bosses, you'll want to potentially farm the Shade of Oribus to push your corruption, though that's really more of an endgame thing for empowered monoliths, not something you should worry about in terms of regular monoliths. Now that you know the basics, let's get into a few more details. Completing an echo involves the objective, and there's 5 different objectives, though you'll only ever see 4 of them displayed on the side. The kill a boss objective is very simple. You kill the boss. It may take some time or require you to kill enemies within the monolith to locate it though. Then seal a gate. You have to kill enemies to locate the gate and then defeat several waves of enemies which spawn to seal it, thus ending the encounter. You can also defeat patrolling enemies. These are random rare enemies within the area. They're often quite dangerous, things like diamond matrons, so do be careful, but you smack them around a bit and there you go. Then there's kill the spires. These spires will fire at you constantly. Do not stand still. Standing still's bad. Also, standing still stops you from getting to your objective anyway, so gotta go fast anyway. Then last up, the secret hidden objective is it's an ambush. This will appear to be either kill a boss or seal a gate, but in fact, you'll have to go and defeat random enemies which spawn after you kill a certain number of things. So in short, if there's a visible objective on the map, rush towards it and attempt to complete it. If there is not, kill enemies, look for big packs, and eventually you'll see something on your map or get ambushed, and in which case, you're done. After you complete this, you'll get some rewards. There are various types of rewards, but a few that I wanted to quickly highlight are unique or set items. This can be used for target farming. Exalted items, this can be very valuable. Or you can even get things like runes, glyphs, and idols. If your build needs a specific idol, yes, you should absolutely go towards idol rewards. Now remember, if you die within an echo, you lose that echo's rewards. Therefore, knowing how modifiers work is very important. Some modifiers are self-explanatory, like enemies do increase damage. But there are others which are subtle killers. For example, enemies inflict marked for death on hit that lowers your resistances, thus increasing the damage you take. Or alternatively, enemies have a chance to dodge, which basically goes, oh, can't touch this, and they are very annoying. They can often stay alive for a long time, and then get to you and kill you. Oh, enrages, also very much a problem if you're not prepared for it. So keep in mind that the modifiers without numbers can be just as dangerous as the modifiers with numbers. Luckily, modifiers only stack up to a maximum of 3, so things aren't nearly as dangerous as they used to be. Now earlier I mentioned target farming. These are the different locations where you can go to farm different items. In Fall of the Outcast, you get bows and quivers. In the Stolen Lance, you get wands, scepters, staves, and catalysts. In the Black Sun, you get helmets and shields. For body armor, go to Blood, Frost, and Death. If you want gloves, Ending the Storm. Search Fall of the Empire for belts, Reign of Dragons for swords, axes, maces, daggers, and spears, The Last Rune for relics, Age of Winter for rings and amulets, or Spirits of Fire for boots. And if you're Circle of Fortune, you can also use prophecies to further enhance your target farming. So, in addition to boss-specific drops, and the ability to target farm using the timelines, there's one more thing that you want to be aware of, and that is blessings. These are permanent bonuses on your character. So, for example, if I look at my character sheet here, blessings, right now, I have Winds of Fortune for increased unique drop rate, I have Emptiness of Ash for crit multi, but where do I get them? In this case, Emptiness of Ash comes from defeating Rye in the Black Sun. If you want to look at this very basically, the left side, these are your drop bonuses, the right side, these are your power bonuses. So you'll very much want to progress the right side first if you feel like you're lacking in damage or defenses. Generally speaking, I always grab the right side before going into empowered monos, and then I leave the left until I'm doing empowered monos because I don't need the drops right away. I'm just objective rushing. I need loot in empowereds. In basic monos, it's all about getting to empowered. That's when the end game really starts. But how do you do that? You need to complete the Age of Winter, the Last Rune, which I haven't done yet here, and the Spirits of Fire. And then after you do that, you need to come and cross the bridge. There'll be a little device that you can interact with that I'm going to show you right now. And once you do that, you will be able to enter empowered monoliths. So here we go. 1 down, 2 down, 1 to go. Let's come back after I finish that last timeline. So after going through, building up the stability again, defeating all of the quest echoes, challenging the boss and winning, collecting my blessing, I've now unlocked Empowered Monoliths, the level 100 endgame system in Last Epoch. And this is where the grind truly begins, because the only place to go is up, and by up I mean corruption. You're going to be defeating Shade of Orbis, you're going to be farming a lot, and your gear will get exponentially more powerful. As a quick tip, Shade of Orbis is a quite dangerous encounter. He has 3 randomly chosen abilities that are often associated with his element. Furthermore, if you defeat a boss, you get what's called Gaze of Orbis, which you can use to progress your corruption faster. If you die to the Orbis, you lose it. So do try to take on an Orbis that you're going to beat, rather than one that's going to crush you. But that's a little bit outside the scope of this video, which was really much more focused on how to get to Empowered Monoliths, not what to do when you get there. And so hopefully you found this resource to be helpful. Do let me know down below if there's any other points in your Last Epoch progression where you get stuck, as that might be the topic for a future video. And if you're looking to watch anything else, I'll leave some other resources on how to craft, scale your damage, scale your defenses, and my current build. Those will be up in the card and down below. Before I go, a special thanks to my patrons and channel members for the continued support. For as low as $1 a month, you can help make resources just like this possible. Link is down below. And a big thanks to everyone who watched to the end. May your monolith progression be smooth, your drops be plentiful. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you again sometime soon.